What is good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope despite all the difficulties we've had in 2020, you all managed to have a great Christmas and New Year. Now on this channel, I've covered quite a lot of information about investment brokerages and different investment account types, and I've also tried out a whole load of different investment brokerages myself in search of finding the most optimized package and best platforms for me as an investor and a part-time trader. And in today's climate, as there are so many options out there now, it can actually be quite daunting trying to pick which is the right one for you and your specific needs. So in today's video, I thought it'd be interesting to go through exactly what investment platforms I'm currently using going into 2021 to invest in the stock market. And with this, I'll be going through exactly why I use them and what features I find appealing from each. As currently, I don't think there's a platform out there that's perfect for absolutely everything when it comes to investing. So I feel it necessary to have different accounts with different investment platforms. Now before we get into it, if you are new around here, welcome to the channel. This really is the place to be for all the most relevant information on UK finance. So whether you're looking for content on investing, making and saving money, as well as finding out what are the best bank accounts and credit cards out there at the moment, then this really is the place to be. So if you're not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell so you never miss a video. And I know it is a bit cheeky asking before the videos even started, but I would really appreciate it if you guys could smash that like button, as it does really help me out with the YouTube algorithm and basically just allows YouTube to share these videos to more people that might find them useful or interesting. And as always, just as a quick disclaimer, this is in no way financial advice. I'm simply just outlining information and giving my honest opinions and thoughts. Always make sure to do your own research and due diligence before signing up for any investment platform. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. So just quickly, before we get looking at the accounts that I personally use, I'm just going to quickly run through what sort of accounts there are actually available, as they can be targeting very different user groups, making them appropriate for one sort of investing, but maybe not another. I feel that there are four main types of investment platform, starting with trading accounts. So a trading account, as you might expect, is tailored towards a trader's needs. So you might see features like really low trading fees, as traders are often taking multiple positions all in one day. With this, you might also be able to take positions in different markets, for example crypto and forex, and usually the platforms themselves are really quite detailed and advanced, so you have all the information you need, usually with indicators, charts and news feeds all built into the platform. But sometimes to get live data, it does come at a monthly charge. They might also have the option to take long and short positions on stocks. So next we then have leveraged trading accounts, which are very similar to standard trading accounts, but the main difference is that they let you trade with borrowed money. This basically means you can make really significant profits or losses without actually putting the money up front. And these sorts of accounts in the UK are often called CFDs or contract for difference. And all the other features are consistent with standard trading accounts. Next we have the platforms that are tailored more to general investors. So usually these have a huge list of stocks and funds that you can actually invest in. And these sorts of accounts are tailored to the more long-term investor. So the platforms themselves might be a bit more basic in terms of charts and data, and usually they also have higher trading fees. But the main advantage of these sort of brokerages is that they allow you to set up accounts with major tax advantages. So for example, pensions and ISAs. So if you set up one of these sorts of accounts, you might be able to make tax-free gains, whereas usually with trading accounts, the profits that you make are actually taxable. And finally, we have the do-it-for-me investment platforms, which again are focused on long-term investing. But the main difference is all the investments are actually managed for you, and usually you're required to pick a risk appetite rather than individual stocks yourself. And most of the big do-it-for-me investment platforms allow you to take the same tax advantages as with general investment accounts. So you can set up the same accounts like SIPs, ISAs, lifetime ISAs and whatnot. So when it comes to picking an investment platform, I think the first thing you need to do is find out which one of these four categories you fit into the most. So do you want to be investing long term or maybe taking short term trades? As it could be quite costly if you pick the wrong sort of platform that doesn't really suit your requirements, and potentially you could be wasting money on things that you're not even using. Now obviously with these categories I've broken them down into, obviously there is a bit of crossover sometimes, and a lot of the platforms are changing all the time, adding new features, trying to become more competitive with the others, and trying to access different user groups. So it's just important to remember it's not always as clear cut as to the categories that I've broken them down into. So for me, the types of investment platforms that I use consist of trading accounts and general investment accounts. I'm personally not interested in leveraged investing accounts, and it's one of those things that I just don't really believe in. It all sounds great on paper that you can make returns off a higher exposure than the amount of money that you've actually put in, but the risks are huge, and if it doesn't pan out in the way you intended, you could be left with huge debt at the end of it. Whereas in contrast with standard investment accounts and trading accounts, the worst that could happen is that you lose all the money that you put in. And I think it's actually quite telling that a lot of platforms that offer leveraged or CFD trading, that's actually how they make most of their money, so they can actually afford to have lower trading fees on their other services. Now personally, I also don't use any do-it-for-me investment platforms. I feel that they have their place for beginner investors, but personally I feel comfortable managing all my own investments. And I feel quite strongly that even as a beginner, if you just put a bit of time and effort in learning about the stock market, you can actually outperform these platforms quite easily when it comes to returns. Now with any investment platform that I use, they all have one thing in common, and that's that they're regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. So with this, that means that they're covered by FSCS, which means that if for any reason the investment brokerage that you use goes into liquidation, your money is covered for up to £85,000 in compensation. So this is just one of those standard safety nets that I always look for, and I feel it just gives you a bit of reassurance knowing that it is a quality financial service. Now with all that in mind, let's get looking at the exact investment platforms I'm currently using. Okay, so first off, the main investment platform I use is AJ Bell. This is actually the first platform I ever used, and I've had an account since I was at school, having a junior ISA. So I would class AJ Bell as a general investment account, and what I use it for is all of my long-term investments. They have a vast selection of funds and stocks that you can invest in on the platform, and I've never had the issue where I've found an investment that I want to invest in, but it's not offered by the platform. They also offer all of the investment account types that you could need as a long-term investor to be able to take advantage of government schemes and tax-free gains. So for me, I have a SIP set up to manage my pension, an ISA to take advantage of tax-free gains, a lifetime ISA which I think is the best way to save for a house deposit as a first-time buyer, and a standard dealing account for any other leftover funds I want to invest. Now I feel that being able to set up all of these different accounts within the one platform is really beneficial to managing your finances. And I can't think of many other investment platforms that offer all of these different packages within the one platform, as a lot of platforms don't actually offer the lifetime ISA. The only other platform I can think of that does offer all of these is Hargreaves Lansdown, which is also a decent platform. However, I feel the advantage of AJ Bell is that they have cheaper dealing charges at £9.95 per trade, whereas Hargreaves Lansdown charge £11.95. So to me, AJ Bell's slightly more appealing, especially if you're starting with a smaller amount of capital. So as well as the drawback of having these dealing charges, the only other major limitation to me is the platform itself. I find the charts and the information to be not all that useful when it comes to looking for investments. And I personally always use third-party websites when researching investment opportunities. I simply just use them to buy and sell and track my investments. So I feel the app itself is also a similar story, as it's not all that useful for keeping track of the markets or looking at information. But it does do all of the necessary stuff by letting you buy and sell and keep track of your investments. So overall, I think they offer a really good service in terms of the products that they offer, and they have lower trading fees to some of the direct competitors. However, I personally feel that the platform itself is a bit limited in terms of information. Next we have Trading 212. So with Trading 212, you can actually use it in a few different ways, and sometimes in a similar way to how I use my AJ Bell account as a long-term investor. They offer both standard dealing accounts as well as investment ISAs, and even CFD accounts. But one of the main advantages of Trading 212 is that they have no trading fees. Obviously, with this advantage of having no trading fees, there are some disadvantages that come along with it. So compared to AJ Bell, they have a much more limited stock list. And personally, I have a lot of investments that I invest with AJ Bell that simply just aren't offered by Trading 212. There's also currently no option to set up a SIP or lifetime ISA with Trading 212. However, one thing I really like about the platform is that it gives you the option to invest in world markets really quite cost effectively. So you can actually set up your account in 3 different currencies: euros, pounds or US dollars. And so with this, if you're investing in just stocks which are in the same currency, you won't be having to pay any exchange fees or charges every time you buy or sell some shares. So this is actually exactly how I use the platform. So my account is valued in dollars, and I use it specifically for buying US stocks as both long-term investments and swing trades, because I found it to be one of the most cost-effective ways to buy into the US markets. Now the platform itself does all of the basic things really quite well. It has good live data and puts trades through quickly and efficiently. However, if you are a full-time trader, it is somewhat basic. The chart data and the indicators available aren't perfect, so personally I always use third-party websites as well when I'm using Trading 212. But I'm happy to do that as I like the fact that it offers no trading fees. So overall, I think Trading 212 is actually a really good option for beginner traders and beginner long-term investors who want to take advantage of the zero trading fees, as this might be particularly appealing to beginners starting out with a smaller amount of capital. But as I said, the stock list is a bit too limited for my liking, and the trading platform itself I wouldn't say is advanced enough for most traders out there. It's also worth noting that they do have some quite cool new features which are particularly good for beginner investors who maybe don't know exactly what investments they want to go with. as they have a fairly new feature called pies in auto investing, where it's basically set up to be a bit more similar to a do-it-for-me investment platform. And you can also share your investment portfolios and copy other people's if you wish to. But if you'd like to know more about the pies and auto investment feature offered by Trading 212, I'll leave a link down below to my video where I go into all of the detail of how it works and what I really think about it. But overall, I think Trading 212 is a solid platform and it's good if you want to keep costs low. Okay, so finally we have Freetrade. Now I have to say I use this platform the least out of all of them, but what I mainly use it for is investing in UK stocks after I've exceeded my ISA allowance each year. As it's a very cost-effective platform to do so, as like Trading 212, it has zero trading fees. But unfortunately, at having this benefit of zero trading fees does come the same limitation of having a fairly limited stock list. Again, a lot of the opportunities that I personally invest in aren't available on this platform. However, that being said, it still does have a good amount of stocks to invest in. The platform itself is again quite basic and it's actually only available on a mobile app. So with this, I think it's essential to use third-party websites and data to research investment opportunities when taking a position. If I was to day trade, I wouldn't use this platform. I think it's only really viable for swing trades and longer term investments, as there's no option to place buy or limit orders using the platform. They have actually introduced Freetrade Plus, which is a new pay monthly service which upgrades your Freetrade account, but you have to pay £9.99 a month for this service. And with this you get the option to place buy and limit orders, which is good. You also get an increased stock list. However, personally I just don't want to be paying £9.99 a month for this service, especially when you can get a very similar service with Trading 212 completely for free. And the main reason I actually use Freetrade myself is because I have my Trading 212 account valued in dollars. So I use Freetrade specifically for UK stocks and Trading 212 just for US stocks, just as it's more cost effective this way. But overall, I do think that Freetrade is a fairly decent platform if you utilise it in the right way. So that basically covers everything, and these are all the investment accounts and brokerages that I'm currently using in my investment strategy. And I find this setup to work really quite well, but obviously I understand if you have a different investment approach to myself, you might find other platforms to be superior for your purposes. But I also feel just using the three keeps it quite optimised and easy to manage, and could be appropriate for the average UK investor. But there we have it, that basically covers everything for today guys. If you did make it this far, thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy the video or feel like you learned something new in any way, I'd really appreciate it if you could smash that like button, as it does really help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and basically allows YouTube to share these videos to more people that might find them useful or interesting. And do make sure to keep an eye out on the channel, as I'll be making a video very soon going over the exact credit card setup that I currently use and which ones I find to be the best to use in 2021. As I made a similar video going over my exact bank accounts that I'm currently using, which went down really well with you guys. So if you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell so you never miss a video. Because like I said, this really is the place to be for all the most relevant information on UK finance. So if you want to know about the best bank accounts, credit cards, as well as videos on investing, making and saving money, this really is the place to be. And as always, do make sure to drop your feedback in the comments down below. I'd love to know what you guys think about my current investment brokerage setup and what accounts you guys are using. And if you do have any feedback or questions for me, make sure to just drop them down below as well, and I'll make sure to respond to all of you. But with that being said, take it easy guys and keep saving.